Good morning. It's time for Read Aloud. Yesterday, in our last chapter, Bradley, Brian, Nate, and Lucy, along with Bradley and Brian's mom and dad and brother Josh, and his friends, Dink and Ruth Rose, went to Hippo the hypnotist. And Bradley and Brian thought it would be funny if they could get their mom hypnotized by Hippo. In the chapter 3, there was a boy named Chad, and Chad told Hippo that he chewed his fingernails. So Hippo said a little hypnotist rhyme, and it went like this: Chad doesn't want to chew his nails. Hippo helps when all else fails. Soon this boy will be stronger, then his nails will grow longer. And he waved his wand over him, and when Chad woke up, he no longer chewed his nails. So, chapter 3 is called Mom is Ducky. Let's see if Mom is the next guest on stage with Hippo the hypnotist. Don't be silly, Brian's mom said to him. Why would I want to let Hippo hypnotize me? Just then, Hippo walked to the edge of the stage. He shaded his eyes so he could see into the audience. So I suppose he was going like this, scan in the audience. Are there any other volunteers? He asked. Brian jumped to his feet. Yeah, my mom, he said. Bradley pulled his brother back into his seat. What are you doing? He whispered. You'll see, Brian said. We're over here, Mr. Hippo. Hippo walked down the stage stairs and marched to the row where Bradley was sitting with his mother and brother. Nate and Lucy turned around in their seats and stared at Brian. Are you going to do it, Mrs. Pinto? Nate asked. Before Bradley's mother could answer, Hippo was standing next to her. He put out his hand. Hello, I'm Hippo. What is your name? Bradley's mother shook Hippo's hand. I'm Pamela Pinto, she said, but I am not interested. Pamela Pinto? What a lovely name, said Hippo. Won't you join me on the stage? Your handsome twins can come with you. Gee, Bradley, we're handsome, Brian crowed. Well, I don't know, their mother said. Do it, Mom, do it, Brian said. Go for it, Mrs. Pinto, Nate chimed in. It'll be fun, Lucy said. Only Bradley remained quiet. He knew that Brian had a plan. Bradley wondered if Hippo could really hypnotize his mom, so she'd let Brian raise ducks. Okay, come on, boys, Mrs. Pinto said. She followed Hippo back to the stage. Bradley and Brian were right behind her. The whole audience clapped and whistled. Hippo sat the twins' mother on the sofa and Bradley and Brian next to her. Pamela Pinto, do you chew your fingernails too? Hippo asked. Of course not, she said. She held up her hands. Remember, she had fingernail polish on. Wow, what lovely pink nail polish you have on, Hippo said. Yes, my son Josh gave it to me for Mother's Day, she said. And my husband gave me this bracelet. And what did these two young men give you for Mother's Day? Hippo asked. He pointed his wand at Bradley and Brian. Well, they bought the tickets to see your show, she said. Wow, such nice sons you have, Hippo said. So, boys, what shall we do with your mother? He asked. Bradley didn't know what to say, but Brian did. My mom doesn't like ducks, she said. Can you hypnotize her so that she loves them? Brian's mother glared at him. I never said I didn't like duh. That's an excellent idea, Hippo said. What do you think, folks? And there they are. Oh, sorry. Sitting on the stage with Hippo. The audience cheered and clapped. Okay, Mrs. Pinto, please close your eyes, Hippo said. She closed her eyes. I feel silly, she said. Brian giggled and Bradley poked him in the ribs. Hippo passed his wand over Mrs. Pinto's head. He muttered something strange words. Mrs. Pinto, please open your eyes, Hippo said after a minute. She opened her eyes. Mrs. Pinto, do you like animals? Hippo asked. Of course I do, she said. We own a dog and a pony, and I had rabbits when I was a little girl. Marvelous, marvelous. Now tell our audience what your favorite animal is. Well, if I had to think a moment, Mrs. Pinto said. Take your time, Hippo said. He gave the audience a big wink. I'd have to say songbirds, Mrs. Pinto said finally. We have several bird feeders in our yard. Excellent. You are fond of our flying friend, Hippo said. He leaned toward her. Now, Pamela, tell us how you feel about ducks. I don't like them, she said. Ducks are noisy and messy, and they would destroy my garden. The audience laughed. Bradley laughed. However, Brian did not laugh. Hippo didn't laugh either. He scratched his chin. Hippo will have to try something else, he said. Mrs. Pinto, will you please come with me? He walked over to a red booth. He swept the curtain aside. Will you step inside, please? The twins' mother stepped into the booth. Hippo closed the curtain. He turned toward the audience. I must have absolute silence, he said. The audience and the auditorium went completely still. On the sofa, Bradley listened to his own heartbeat. Hippo closed his eyes and spoke. Pamela Pinto loves the birds. Pamela Pinto hears my words. With super magical hippo luck, make Pamela Pinto love a duck. He then yanked the golden curtain aside. Bradley's mother was gone. In her place stood a big white duck. The audience went wild. Bradley thought he would keel over. The duck waddled out of the booth. Even from the sofa, Bradley could see that the duck had pink nail polish on its toenails. Hanging around its neck was his mom's new bracelet. And here's a picture. Oh my goodness. Did Bradley and Brian's mother get turned into a duck? I guess we're going to have to wait until tomorrow to find out. Wow. Does Hippo the Hypnotist have powers? I hope you enjoyed our read today. Thanks. Have a great Thursday.